Hello, welcome to Down with Dragons here on Monsters of Roll on Twitch. I am DM Scott. With me, as always,
Adam playing Loon Sentinel.
Chris playing Theobald Blackstaff.
Mick playing Callan.
so it's been another week. Glad everyone's here joining us. Hope everybody's had a great week. Last time on Down with Dragons, we had a graduation of sorts, a ceremony inducting its newest members into the Scalebound. The kind of jeweled tattoo was finished on each of the new members. Their names were given. We have Blackstaff, we have the Fool, or the Fool, or the Fool, the Fool.
Yeah.
The Fool.
As long as the is capitalized, right?
He
Right,
alternates
it. And Peacemaker. The group was given their name, the Halfway Crew, and their first orders were given to investigate some peculiar stuff going on in a large town to the north of Highport. During that kind of week that they were getting ready for the ceremony, a lot of stuff was done. I mean, Theobald reconnected with Avery, the runner with a message, who, after a shady meeting in an alley and being brought in somewhere, met a very suspicious character, not sure if he actually was who he said he was. Upon many questions and interrogation, two brothers were sort of reunited. Norwin and Theobald got to kind of have a, I guess, as happy a reuniting as I think your family really does. And we had Callan had a nice little powwow with Terrafin, and I mean, nothing but kudos and happiness after his recent performance, and nothing but good, and was granted some sort of boon, even. Though not sure what it is, other than after taking a drink from his flask that was shared between the two, slightly metallic taste to it afterwards. And Loon Sensinome, he also during some of that week shared some time talking to Slate and counseling him, trying to give him advice and telling him not to push himself too much. Kind of worried about him for everything he's been pushing himself through and dealing with. And in the end, Slate ended up confiding in him and sharing some strange things going on with him personally. Strange scarring to the skin, discoloration, very odd, very odd indeed. And after kind of examining him, nothing seems to be harming him, but it is very strange, and it's going to try to look into it with some discretion of the source of this ruin that seems scarred on the chest and this discoloration of skin. After the ceremony went down and mingling with the other members, the next day you were sent on your mission through one of the other members, Blink, who teleported you all in the wee hours of the morning, right before the sun would rise, in the town of Highport. Upon arriving, the town seemed deserted. Quiet, too quiet. And after looking around, finding the town was apparently in lockdown, and some guards at the city gates directed you towards the mayor's manor, where that was your contact for the contract you were given. And on your way there, you started hearing some strange growling, barking, and just aggressive sounds. our heroes, being who they are, they followed the sound and investigated
Being who we are.
and found in an alleyway a very dirty, bedraggled man on the ground getting attacked by a dog, it almost seemed like at first, and dog dragging at his pant leg. And suddenly the man lurched forward, grabbing the dog, biting into it, and then looked at all of you as you approached, skin gaunt, eyes going opaque, blood all over his chin, dirty hair and beard, and starts to stand. And that's where we left off last week. I have no inspiration to give. So unfortunately, we're going into this. Let's do a quick count. Where is everybody for inspiration? I know, Mick, you used some last week.
There we go.
Or the
I'm-
week before,
Week
potentially.
before.
Yep. Where's
Yeah.
everybody at?
I've got
Yes, I
three.
used some, but I'd still be.
Oh, Theo,
Oh, poor guy. Somebody give him a pity inspiration this week,
Oh,
please.
thanks a lot. Pity inspiration. Keep your pity inspiration. I can do it myself.
You still have 4, Colin?
Yeah, because
We're gonna
I
have to
got
change
another one last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Loon,
3.
3. Man, what's going on, Theobald? I mean, I feel you've had some really good art. I guess the jokes and all that are
swear
just
he
way
should have
better.
had one for the
great
last
drama.
session. Like he really should have. All that
Yeah.
fun stuff with the family.
fine.
Hey,
It's
I
fine.
agree. I can't give it out
I don't
every
need your
single time. Though just to also, I'm not trying to rub it in, but I also am sitting on 3 right now.
Oh, no.
So, so just a reminder to anybody, especially Theobald is definitely going to be campaigning. Anybody who would like to let us know if during the game, anybody who does something memorable, makes you laugh, something really cool, noteworthy, that you just think deserves a little inspiration, give them an extra dice that they can use to give them advantage or re-roll something or earn to do more with later. Give me disadvantage, things of that nature. Just email us at downwithdragonsmailbag@gmail.com and just put in the subject inspiration. Let me know why, and then I can give you a shout out and also give inspiration to our players or me. I'll take it to make it things harder for them or make it easier for them if you give it to them. But yeah, so you're all in the alley. This bedraggled man, blood on his face, stands and starts moving towards you. What are your thoughts in this first moment before we roll inspiration? Roll initiative.
It's got the glassy eyes.
Yeah, little glassy. I mean, they're not full whited, but they're definitely
Loon.
Abomination. is-
Probably
What kind
horror.
of drinks do they serve in this town?
all right. Roll me
Nice.
initiative real quick.
Thank you.
That's atrocious.
This could be awesome. You know?
Oh my.
Theo,
This is either amazing or really bad.
I don't think it's amazing.
Natural 1.
Oh, I'm not doing much better, dude. I got a 2.
So
Plus
what's your
2
total
for-
initiative?
Total initiative is 4.
So is mine.
Callan's total is 11.
I used up all my good rolls on the.
We're
on the
gonna get
darts.
beat in initiative by
A zombie.
moving-
We're
a
all.
slow moving-
It's
not
the
even a
first
fast-
time we've seen
legend.
one.
not even a
Um,
fast mover. It's a Days of the
The-
Dead.
Fable, what's your dexterity modifier? 3.
3.
Loon?
How is yours better than mine? 2. I'm the monk.
I guess you're a strength monk.
I guess. No, I'm not because that's a 0.
All right. So I don't need a map for this. So theater of the mind. You're in this alley. It's the wee hours of the morning. Just barely light coming from over top of the houses, and there's the mountain range to the north, and a zombie standing up and starting to lurch towards you. Callan, you have the initiative.
Ooh,
Oh.
good for me, huh?
You're about let's just say 40 feet away.
Okay. It doesn't look like a savory sort I want to be chatting with right now. So
Sure, but he'll talk to Moss.
Judgmental.
okay. Oh yeah, Callan will blast him.
Roll an attack.
That is a 14.
14. That will hit. Roll damage.
All right. 8.
8. Okay. So you kind of, what kind of looking at everybody, like, what kind of drinks they serving around here, kind of trying to make a joke of it. And this thing starts to just coming towards you, and and it strikes him in the shoulder, and you can see the actual shoulder dislocates, and he just kind of pivots back, but still moving towards you. Anything else you'd like to do?
Guys, nope.
Okay. Its turn. And it will start pacing towards you. 20 feet away now. 10 feet away now. It is right there on top of you. All of you standing in a line, and this thing is now just about an arm's reach.
Boy.
And that's its turn.
Okay.
It had to double move, sir.
Oh.
Theo, you're up. There's a thing right here.
Are
Just
all 3 of us like standing right here?
yeah, you basically, charged down the alley and just came to a stop right at that mouth of
Okay.
that opening to the alley right there. So you're all kind of right there.
Mm.
All right. Crap.
And in that shocked moment, it stood and just started.
All right. I'm gonna try to grab. How's this gonna work? If I try to grab Callan and Loon and try to pull them back, like 10 feet, can I? That'd be a grapple, but it's not even Loon's turn yet. I don't. What would this?
Okay.
What would you roll this?
How about this? If Callan and Loon, if you feel Theobald kind of with his bow staff, kind of lean back to try to pull you guys back. First off, would you in any way oppose it? Just off the cuff, no thinking.
At
you
this
feel
point, probably
No.
not.
No.
it. Okay.
He'd be
Callan,
like still like bewildered.
Yeah, it's still
But-
shocked. Yeah.
okay.
Wouldn't oppose it.
Both of you have used half your movement for your
Yep.
next turn.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Theobald, to pull them back with you, you've used half of your movement as well.
Fair enough?
It does get an opportunity attack, though,
Okay.
which Theobald, you're 1, seeing as this is your idea. Callan, you're 2. Loon, you are 3. And 4 is just a flail. 4. So as you real quick just pull back, it just kind of lunges at your staff because you kind of brought it up and pulled back, and it just nothing.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, so you're now 10 feet back from it.
Yep. Casting guiding, not blah blah. Casting divine favor.
Okay.
Yet gratium tuum virginium. Kind of tap the black staff on the ground and reach for that string that just kind of appears when I do it,
Yep.
and just pull and have the bow just, or the staff kind of bend back into a bow form and throw a sacred flame at it, sacred arrow.
Ooh,
All right. Roll, sir.
yikes! Flavor.
Be a oh, it's a dexterity. Has to be a
Oh.
dexterity. Sorry,
Nope. I just sorry. Just
I blanked. I got excited.
yeah. I got caught up in the
Got to beat
description.
a 14. Got to beat a 14.
Dexterity.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I rolled a 16 minus 2,
Nice.
14. So I'm
Oh.
guessing in that flailing, it kind of half starts to stumble forward and you let loose and it just goes right over its head.
Yep.
Boo.
I got half movement yet.
You still have half movement.
How narrow's the alleyway?
It's a 10 feet across on your sides.
Okay.
In front of you, where everything was happening, it goes towards the right and it opens up about 20 feet across straight in front and then down the alley more.
All right. I'm just gonna take 10 more feet back. Just keeping the bow up.
So you're 20
Flagstaff.
feet back from, yep. Okay, so you're 20 feet back. You two are 10. Okay. Loon, you're 10 feet away from it.
Yeah. Well, do you guys know what this thing is? As I'm like preparing to bring the staff up, I'm gonna give it. I'm just gonna start whacking at it. Mainly gonna focus on the legs though, because to try and like put it on the floor. See
Okay.
if I can bash its legs down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do my 2 attacks. Yeah. First attack, 19 plus 4 for 23.
That'll hit.
Okay. Second attack will be 7 plus 4 for 11.
7 plus 4, 11. Both hit.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
If
damage.
you actually want to, I'll just say off the cuff, I don't really want to look. I don't care. If you
Yeah.
want to purposely try to make it drop to the ground, like try to take its legs out from underneath it,
Yep.
do half damage and I'll make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. All right. My staff, since it's a staff, is doing that much. So there we go. Okay. So that's 10 plus 4 is 14. 7 total damage halved.
7 total damage. Okay.
Just bashing into its legs.
Yeah, and you just both knees, and you actually hear, especially on the second one, something crack, and you see the leg actually cave in the wrong direction, so it actually goes backwards, and you see it just drop and smash its head on the ground. I rolled a nat 1 for that dexterity save, so I'm
Oh.
going to roll extra damage because why not? And you hear it just, and you hear a on top of the knee, you hear a sickening thud as its head hits the pavement.
Oh. Okay.
But it's still moving. Top of the initiative, you now, and 10 feet in front of you, Callan, there is a moving still person on the ground.
All right. I am going to blast it again after I position myself on the other side of it from my compatriots.
You want to just kind of tuck around the side a little bit, stay out of its reach?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, yeah, as far on the other side as I can move.
Well, you're 10 feet. You would actually not be able to do that. You only have 15 feet of movement. And so
Okay.
you're 10 feet in front of it. So you'd basically get staying out of reach, but you'd only kind of get to the wall right across from it.
That doesn't sound good. Then I will, yeah, I'll just angle to the side as
Okay.
far away as I can and blast it.
Okay. With it being on the ground, it'd be range would be disadvantage.
Okay. Then, oh, okay. Dirty 20.
Yeah, that totally hits. Roll that damage.
All right. Where'd you go? Oh, that's a 2.
2 damage.
2 damage.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of finger gun getting off to the side a little bit and just poof, and this arcane energy bursts from your hand, slamming into its chest and caving in even some of the ribs, and its head leans back up and it stands. You hear the crunch of its knee as it's still putting weight on it, and then starts to come towards you. And Loon, you're right there in front of it, and it's going to lunge at you.
Yep.
And you very quickly just kind of bat it off with your staff. I mean, it's definitely
Don't touch
off
me.
balance with that bashed in knee. And it will now be Theo's turn. You're still you're 20 feet back from it.
All right. Loon's in the way.
He's right there. I mean, he's kind of off
Right.
to the side, right in there. You have a clear shot at him.
Okay. Pull a regular arrow out since I don't want to hit Loon with the holy fire. And fire.
Advantage.
Shot and with advantage.
Yep.
Okay.
He's definitely in melee.
Be a 21 to hit
That will hit, sir.
for 6 points of damage. 3 of that piercing, 3 of it radiant.
What's the max on your radiant right now?
The max on my radiant is a D4.
D4. What'd you roll for the radiant? Sorry.
3.
All right. So you draw back, fire that normal arrow, and put some of that divine energy into it. And you feel, just as you're releasing, something both within you, from your symbol, you feel from the staff as well, this kind of harmony. And the arrow actually brightens up right as it slams in, and you see it fall back and drop, piercing it right in the head, and it drops back onto its back, not moving.
Okay. Eyeball the dog. Is the dog?
Dog is down the street, is whimpering. It is bleeding. It's
I'm-
kind of trying to go down the alley. It's
Yep.
limping, trying to find a hole.
I'm going to slide past use my movement, slide past the body on the ground, and Callan and Loon. I'm going to put an arrow on the dog then too. So
Well,
Do you have a second attack right now, or no?
I will use the my war priest.
Okay, war priest.
attack
Okay,
action. Yeah.
okay. So roll attack.
poor
9 to hit.
And hit.
And that just is it prone? That'd be
Nope.
a disadvantage.
It's still standing, but it's just limping. Yeah, the maybe you're half-hearted about it, not happy. And it hits the stone right at its feet, and it just kind of backs off and keeps moving down the alley a little bit quicker now. This will take us out of initiative either way. You guys can go from here.
I think Callan would see that Theobald thinks it's serious enough to put the dog down. So
Wait. Let me see if I can help it.
Loon,
Uh,
have you not heard these stories?
no, I do not even know what this thing is.
Roll a
Does
history
not-
check.
Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
or religion.
Whatever it is, I don't know.
You've not heard of this. What are you talking about?
These abominations obviously need to be put down. There is nothing human about it. Well, apart from that it looks human, but the dog is still okay.
Yeah, that could have been a really sick man. You don't know.
Loon Sensinome,
Uh,
how do you think this guy got like that?
I do not know. Perhaps there is something bad in the water. I don't. Oh, hold on, and I'm gonna go out. Actually, go over to the body and start examining it.
Yeah. While he's doing that, I will walk up to the dog. I'm gonna try to approach it, see if I can approach it. I mean, I don't know.
Roll
Approach
me
it.
an animal handling.
Animal handling. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm gonna
in this
throw a-
situation, and you just fired at it disadvantage
Yep.
as
I'm gonna
well.
throw a guidance on.
Sure.
there you go.
It might be a little more wary of you.
Hmm,
Natural one.
for
Uh,
real.
all you're getting
I have a
is
1 and an
bare
18.
teeth, and it is
All right.
trying to get away from you.
All right. I'll say a prayer and shoot him.
Okay.
Try to make it as humane as possible.
I'm not going to make you roll. You're
Thank you.
focused on
My
taking
son's
care
probably
of
gonna
what
be
you
mad at
feel.
me. Yes.
No, I get it. I get it. So down the alley, you fire and put down the dog. Come back to the group, who now Loon is examining the body of
Yeah.
this potentially very sick individual that was just murdered.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I'm just trying to figure out what on earth is going on here.
Roll me a medicine check, sir.
Okay,
Callan, pin that head down.
I want to be careful not to like
Got it.
touch and infect myself, knowing how this stuff can work.
I feel like as a adventurer, even if you are on the more inexperienced, anybody who's ever done any kind of physical labor, which you are aware of, you probably have a pair of gloves with you, I would assume. I'm just going to say
Okay, all
you
right,
probably have
That's
some
fair.
gloves.
that's fair. Okay, medicine check for total of 16.
16. Okay. So looking over, I mean, you're trying to be careful. You put these gloves on and
Yep.
you're kind of going through you very quickly. It's like, all right, he's been bitten by a dog for sure. You can
Mhm.
see that. You witnessed it. There's the
Yep.
evidence. Going through him, you're not actually seeing any other wounds. You can see like some old scars, things of that nature. Beyond that, there's nothing that looks like it was like he died from any kind of attack or bleeding out or anything like that. What you do see though is you've seen it enough just in your lifetime of being at the monastery, helping out here and there. Looks like this might have been someone who recently suffered like a really bad fever or like was sick. Like there's evidence like this person probably died in the last, how many hours, and is just died. And even though there's an arrow in his forehead and you saw all the damage you all did, it looks like he died of natural causes, more or less.
Yeah, I kind of just imagine I'm on my knees and I just kind of lean back and ugh. And then turn and look at the guys. I have no idea. There is nothing here that is beyond stating that he died naturally. And all he has is a dog bite and what we did. But apart from that, it doesn't look like he
As-
died from the attack so much as he just died.
He didn't look good either way.
Mm, Is I stand up kind of slowly, kind of not really scratching my head, but just very quizzical. I suppose we have to go talk to the mayor, eh?
Let's is there anything in this alley besides
A dead dog. and
There's
dead-
some, there's a few doors that look like the back entrance to a few establishments or buildings and stuff, but those like any windows that are like a lot of things are boarded up or shutters shut.
well let's let's move the bodies near the entrance so someone it'll be easier to collect them.
Okay. Are we
I'll
close to
go-
those guards we talked to earlier?
No, those are a little bit further away. You're blocks
Alright.
and blocks away. So collecting bodies. Who's on body wrangling?
I'll pick up the dog. I'll go pick up the dog and carry it back and
Okay.
set near the entrance. And if I need to, I'll go pick up the zombie character too. If
I'll
these two are
give you a
hesitating,
hand.
I
But you
can
were just
manage.
right there checking him over, so you might as well.
Yeah. I don't really want to like manhandle this body by myself, like get it all over me.
I'll help
Everyone,
you. Okay,
everyone, roll me a
fine.
perception check real quick.
All right. Ooh.
Ooh,
Jeez.
Alan
21.
rolled a 2.
2. Theo,
9.
9. Oh,
I'm having one of those nights, guys. Don't.
so as you're body patrolling, and Loon, you as gently as you can kind of pick up the body of the man. And as you kind of heft the weight and look, you're watching Callan's kind of helping and realizes you really don't need it. And it kind of just like half like, yeah, you've got him completely, and kind of just standing there looking around like, I should do something. You notice just as Theobald, you can see he's not happy, and he kind of gets out. Like you can see it in the alley. There's like looks like a piece of like rotted blanket or something like that, and he goes to like grab that to put over the dog. Loon, you see that dog's foot twitch.
Seal? Seal? Seal?
Yeah, I'll be there in a minute.
No. Seal, it's moving. Is the dog is not dead? You killed it. You shot it in the head. Its foot just moved.
That happens sometimes.
You
I'll
killed it,
look at
so
it.
it's not dead. What? It's confusing, Loon Sentinel. What are you talking about?
I know what I saw,
Theo-
okay? Drop
Theobald,
the
you
dog.
see suddenly the chest kind of half rise, and you see a shudder in the shoulder.
Finish it.
How much time do I get? Is it pulling up? Can I duck?
It's not getting up yet.
Okay.
And you've got the
All right.
blanket, you're about to, and it's like you just see like there's suddenly some jerking, and
There's no
I'm
coup
going
de
to-
grace mechanic, but is that a
what mechanic?
coup de grace? That was like a 3.5 thing.
Yeah, that's kind of incapacitated. I get what you're
right.
saying.
My instinct is to get the blanket over its head and wrap it and grapple it and yell for help.
Okay, roll me with advantage
Okay.
athletics roll.
$17.
All right. So yeah, you kind of like seeing that, hearing the worry in his voice, you kind of just grab. You got it.
Loon.
And you
Loon.
just feel twitching,
Loon.
What do you want from me?
and then just a low.
Oh.
Loon. Callan. Loon. Callan.
Callan would zip right over there.
Ah.
Yeah, I think Callan understands.
Theo, now you
what's-
feel it struggling and trying to get
Oh
up.
yeah.
And
That's not good. No.
and like you've got it. And this was like just like a golden retriever style, like size
Yeah.
dog, just mangy, and it's like lifting you up. I mean, it seems strong.
Yep.
All right. Callan will zip over as fast as he can and try to do it in again with the rapier.
All right, with advantage, you're definitely getting he's holding it, and so advantage.
21.
That'll hit.
All right. And 9
Okay.
9
all right.
damage.
So yeah, you just kind of Jesus, and you feel it go limp and drop.
Did it work?
Is it-
Theo, you're kind of like, yeah, I think so.
Do I
And then
still
all
have?
of, you still got him, and then all of a sudden you start to, and over the course of another couple moments of just like, stay down, stay, I mean,
Do I still have my radiant? Has it been a
sure,
minute? Do I still have
no, it has not.
draw an arrow? If I can hold on to it, draw
Yep.
an arrow and jam it in.
Yep, between you and Callan, especially with the radiance, just and you hear like one last snarl and just and it drops, and you stay there holding,
You'll start down this time.
and then like you can see the arrow kind of glowing from underneath the wrappings, and it's just like, and then it goes out.
Okay.
I think you got it this time.
Callan, get ready. I'm gonna
And I'm kind of
Push
at
it
the
off
edge
me and
too,
roll.
waiting.
roll up to my feet.
Yeah.
Another-
Yep.
It's still skewered. So woo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now any movement that happening is from your rapier and just.
It's stuck.
Okay. I see
Go
I am
into the
beginning
light,
to,
puppy.
One
to
leg
piece
keeps twitching
something
every time you
together
pull.
here. The
Give it back.
regular attacks perhaps incapacitate for a moment, but whatever it is that you are adding into your weapons there, Seobold, it seemed to have done the trick. Your god is power.
I don't even know what this is exactly, but
Oh,
those things are wrong. I'm not gonna pick the dog up this time. I'm just gonna drag it.
Cap.
it's certainly not
I'm
right.
gonna have an arrow in my hand.
Just ready to go.
Understandable. So you bring both
Loon, watch
bodies
yours.
to the mouth of the alley, back towards the street.
Here, pull harder. My rapier's kind of wedged in the skull.
Might have to just give it up, man. It's part of it now.
Oh, I got it.
All right. So
Oh, was
you,
that a growl? No. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Watch
You,
it.
you've deposited both bodies at the mouth of the alley. You're
Okay.
kind of back on the street. Only from the description, a few short blocks from the mayor's estate. So yeah, kind of after all that.
Mhm.
That's two down. I think our job here is done.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah,
Oh, good. We can go back home. You have the thing, right?
yeah.
Let's get out of here.
High score. Let's go.
right.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Down the street.
All right, heading down the street.
Yep.
You work your way. It doesn't take you very long, and you very clearly you can see kind of it has a little bit of an opening, almost like a little bit of a not quite a town square or anything like that, but just like there's a natural opening and then kind of a small stone fence around it. It's more for looks. It wouldn't actually functionally keep anything out, just kind of to show its difference. You arrive, and just past the gate there is you can see two men that are up in a balcony in at the building, looking down, and streets are off limit. Who goes there?
Hello, we are the halfway crew. We were sent from the Skillbound Guild. We heard there was a problem. I believe we took care of two of said problem down the street. We're here to speak with the mayor, perhaps learn a little more about why we were sent here in the first place.
Hold on, just stay where we can see you. And he says something to the other one and goes inside. A few moments later,
I kind of
So-
turn around and look at them like, did I do okay?
Well done, Peacemaker.
Yeah. I'll shuffle in between Theo and Loon, and then at some point I'll have a silent image pop up of a fourth person.
Nice.
Yeah, he seems a little bit more on guard. He's definitely like, brings up a crossbow and just like, hey, where There are 4 of you now. You know, and right as that's happening, the door opens again, and guy says something and whispers, shouts down to all of you. All right, the 4 of you.
I'll turn-
The silent image is like
What does that one look like? Because
it's almost identical to Callan, but the clothes are like a photo negative.
okay,
Oh wow, that's interesting.
all right. So,
So mostly white and
what's your DC? Because he's trying to figure out if
Yep, yep.
something's hinky.
14?
14. So 12 plus. So he's not like, he definitely doesn't realize that it's like not real. He hasn't seen through it, but he is close enough that he sees like, all right, what the heck is going on?
Oh, this is my friend, Mr. Decoy. I felt like we needed to bring him along, especially since the problem that we encountered in the streets. You guys aware that you got like zombies or something running around?
On the streets? No, we're locked down to prevent that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that ain't working.
We just took care of a couple down the street. It had a dog, and the dog turned as well. Is that what these are? These are zombies? What the heck is a zombie?
We're not just the 3 of you come in. I only saw 3.
Okay.
If
Leave
saw
your
the silent
Mr.
images.
Decoy or whoever out there.
Will do.
He's like, keep an eye on him. And he points at the decoy.
Luckily, he's
back
making the decoy stay out, not you.
Yeah.
So
As long as I'm concentrating, that can be up to 10 minutes. So yeah, whatever.
yeah, suddenly he's gone. You know.
I'll put him in dance mode.
All right. Like any character that after you walk away from your controller long enough, just all of a sudden
Yep.
Starts doing the random animations. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
after a few moments, the main doors to the estate are actually opened, and the guy you saw up above kind of comes down to, like I said, just a simple fence stone wall, opens a gate. They're like, come in. The mayor's inside. Captain Gottfried will see you first. Just go right in. So you'll be ushered inside. He'll shut behind and kind of follow you up. You'll see the guard up above who's just kind of watching you guys, watching the decoy going back and forth. And you all enter.
Callan, don't you think he's got better things to be watching instead of your tricks?
I don't know.
You want him focused on that instead of what else might be coming down the street?
Yeah, but a decoy could buy us time too.
All right.
All right. So you walk in and do. All right. So upon walking in, door shuts behind you. It's a fairly nice house. I mean, there's kind of it's not a mansion or anything like that. It's just a nice house. It has a nice, staircase going up, big opening. And further underneath is another room that you can see in the distance actually is someone's like large kind of study. There's multiple chairs, sitting room. Looks like where probably he does a lot of business and stuff like that. In that main entry, you will see there's a dwarf who has a thick braided beard, and it is kind of light auburn and very muscular build, pale face, and he's got pretty like thick leathers on, and stands there and just looks at all of you. So you're all from the Scalebound.
Pull up the sleeve on my jerkin so you can see the tattoo.
I'd see him doing it and pull my cloak away to show him.
Excellent, excellent. My father's happy to hear that you all came so quickly, I might add. Name's Godfrey, and he kind of holds out his hand to each of you.
Bow.
I'm captain of the town guard here. I do what I can, but my father has more details, and your contract's with him. So follow me. And
You got 2 bodies down the street there in an alleyway.
right, when did you all arrive?
About 20 minutes ago.
Not that long ago.
Oh wow, seems father must have gotten the right group together. So I'll send some men, and he'll kind of go off and first bring you to the door, and you'll see like you can see that it looks like the mayor has not been up long. He's wearing like looks like kind of rushed together clothes with a kind of a robe over top of it. You'll see another dwarf. He has kind of right now, especially not even pinned back or anything too outrageous. He has long, kind of wavy auburn hair and bright steel eyes. You can see as he's kind of at his desk. Real smooth skin, about 4'5", 4'4" in there. Strong build, and a huge beard. He's sitting at the desk, just trying to look, at least looks like some sort of, official, and sees you all and immediately gets up. And he's like, "Oh, I come on in. Thank you so much for getting here so fast. I honestly did not expect you to get here so quick."
Scalebinder thought we needed to expedite this.
Oh, it's thank goodness. Things have, in the last week alone, gotten a little bit more hairy around here. Garen Founderman, and he holds out his hand to each of you. And he's so glad you're all here.
So do you even know what's going on out in your city?
In the city, I mean, I overheard some of that. We haven't had anything like that.
It seems
in
like
quite
your
a
own
few
guards
weeks.
think it's just a problem of a bunch of drunks roaming around the city. But I'll tell you what, the nature of the threat to your city is a lot more deep and dangerous than that. It seems a little odd that if you're in charge of the guard defending the city, whatever you call it, you're sitting in here clueless.
I understand. Here, please sit. Let me explain. I understand how it may appear. We're trying to avoid a certain amount of panic. We're kind of alone out here. Weeks ago, we sent word to Dragonlock, to the Dragoons, to maybe get some extra assistance, extra patrols. Everything's been going out in the countrysides. Until about 2 weeks ago, a few of our huntsmen who went out trying to deal with some of the attacks came back wounded. That was the first time we saw really what was going on, which is why we reached out to the Scalebound. We knew this was a little bit bigger than what we could handle, but we tried to put a curfew and try to just keep everybody safe without everybody panicking. If they go running out and try to leave town, there's no protection. And that is where it's the worst. We've been keeping things quiet and safe. This is apparently whatever you found is the first I've heard of anything in the town since a few weeks ago. And that was a very isolated case that we took care of. All the bodies were burned.
What was a few weeks ago? Was that the returning guards?
Yes, a few hunters went out looking for any signs of any of the creatures or people. Or, we weren't sure at that point if they were rogues and bandits who were trying to scare us or something more.
Where was that? Where was that at?
Toward one of the old mines in the woods, towards the old silver mine that a few months ago had a collapse, and we haven't been back there since. We've been meaning to go back there, but it just wasn't yielding as much as one of our main mines. It was a newer one. But we've been trying to just keep everybody safe and not panicking. They go out there, there's nothing I can do for them. We don't have the manpower.
Who were the first victims? How did you find out that there was something going on?
Well, the first victims, there were some farmers that got attacked, seemed like animals. Fire. A few of our Godfried, my son with some guards went out there. Most of the farm was burned, just bodies. After that, some animal attacks and a few crazy stories of, people attacking and trying to eat the people they were attacking. We weren't really sure. And then we saw, like I said, a few weeks ago, people that I've known all of my life, good men, sick and wounded when they came. 2 days went by, and one night they killed everybody in that home. The only reason they didn't do more was for the fact of we were doing the curfew at that point, just the beginnings of it, just locking your doors, you see. Nobody came out. Godfried with a few men went in. That's when they found them.
Theo, I don't think I have enough flasks of oil for this entire city.
How quiet are you saying that?
Just whispering.
Well, roll me a stealth, just real quick. Just real quick.
Okay, so 17 total.
He didn't hear it. He didn't catch it. Or at least he didn't act on it.
I'm just gonna nod to Callan. Can you tell us more about this mine?
Oh, the mine.
How many men were in it when it went down?
Luckily, I only lost about 5 men. Most everybody got out. It was a fairly new mine, so we hadn't even done more than an exploratory mining. Only a few men in most of the tunnels that they had started digging when
Were
it
they
happened.
This was a cave system, or where was it? A branch off of another mine, or
It was a cave that was found, and found a small vein right inside the cave. So we started looking into it a little bit more. But our main mines have been very fruitful for us. So we'd only sent about a dozen men to start really looking into it.
what do they think caused the collapse?
Honestly, hadn't even been back to try to figure it out. Until a time that required us to take another look at the mine, we hadn't thought too much about it. It was unfortunate, but we figured at this point, cut our losses instead of trying to put more men into figuring out if it was even worth the risk.
Sure. Nobody's been in or out.
Not to my knowledge,
So this
but
is
it's
the-
also not protected or anything.
No, sorry, the city. Nobody's been in and out of Highport.
During the days, people can still come and go, but nobody knew. At least nobody that we've noticed. The guards pay attention.
Loon, tell them what you found on the body we had to put down.
Just explain kind of what I saw going on there. How we did a ton of damage to it, and it does not seem to matter the amount of damage that we did to it. It seemed to matter only that well, our gentleman here, our soldier here, he the blessing from his weapon seems to be the thing that helps keep these enemies down.
You told us that it didn't die from our wounds. It died of, you said, natural causes.
Ah, yes, that one. Yeah, the damage we did not seem to be the thing that eventually killed it. It seemed to have expired on its own time. They have a limited life, but they refuse death, if that makes sense.
Do you have anyone else who's sick in the city?
Oh, I don't know. About 4,500 people to keep track of. I'm sure there's probably some people who are sick and ill, but nothing of the sorts of any kind of rampant disease or nothing. Everybody from time to time gets sick, but
There have
nobody,
been
as far as I'm
nothing-
aware of, has died other than through the recent events in quite a few weeks, actually.
no sudden increases in the infirmaries, no stories or rumors beyond what is already floating around.
Not that I'm aware of. To be honest, I would hear if we started to have an outbreak of some sort.
The
Right now, it sounds,
madness-
seeing as nobody's come to me talking about any disease, I assume it's standard comings and goings of anybody sick or injured. But anybody who gets in any way injured outside of these walls, on any of the hunting parties or anything like that, I know about all of them. And so far, since the last time we brought those men back, we've kind of pulled back from going too far out. And even all of the farm folk out there, they come into the city at night. Other
We're
than
gonna
a
need
few.
we're gonna need somebody to identify the body that we found. We need to try to trace if this person's family is also infected or what's happening here.
I- I
At
do-
those words, you'll actually a woman will be walking in, another dwarf, and you'll just hear kind of behind you, and she has her hair is back, blonde hair braided back, a little bit taller actually than Garen, and she just like real soft voice smile, and she's like, Godfrey's gonna be looking into it. He went with a few men. I'm sure if anybody will know who it is, one of them will.
Appreciate it.
It seems that you are doing the right thing as it is. The dog that we ended up killing did not come back to life until it was attacked or was attacking the creature. It seems to be transferred via bite per se, or perhaps fluids of some kind, from what I can tell. Keeping the people away from them is the best way to mitigate spread.
Honestly, that's one of what one of our doctors here said. Most anything transferable would be through fluids, things of that nature, which is why we immediately burned any bodies.
Well, something happened where a new case came into your city since you burned all those bodies. So that might not be the only case. Is
Need to write
the
it down.
is the silver mine the only unusual event that has happened recently?
Oh, like I said, that was about 2 months ago. But other than that, honestly, until the strange occurrences violent occurrences started happening out in the countryside, hasn't been much. It's been pretty standard around here. We just got done with the my brain just decided to leave. High summer festivals, and everybody was it was a good time, even despite knowing there were some strange things out in the countryside. Everybody had a good time. Beyond that, unfortunately, it's been pretty quiet. We're a quiet town.
All right. Perhaps we should. How far out is the silver mine from here?
Oh, from here, I kind of goes back towards his desk and like opens a drawer and pulls out a couple things and opens. He's like, looks like it's about a day and a half.
Can you, on this map here, this is a nice map, can you point out where the attacks have been?
Oh, and
Maybe perhaps just mark that or make a copy, and it doesn't have to be super fancy. But
he'll point to a few different locations where there's been either confirmed things, farms burned, or all that. All of it seems, and I'll give you a between now and next time an actual detailed map of the area and stuff like that. That looks to be all near the kind of forest line going towards the mountain range. Because it's like the mountain range, a forest kind of in front of it, farmland, Highport, the city or a large town, and it's like, and I mean, it's right on the lake going towards the river.
Perhaps we should. Is there a place where we can stay, stash our gear as need be?
Oh, absolutely. There's a few places I could recommend. Otherwise, and you hear like the woman again behind. She's like, Darren, don't be silly. They're here from the Scalebound. They're welcome in our home. And he's like, of course, but I just didn't want to assume you'd want to be here. Or otherwise, there are many establishments, but you're of course welcome, as my wife Constance says.
That's very generous of you.
We appreciate that. And if this is the headquarters in the location where your captain or your son is based out of,
Godfrey doesn't live here, but our day-to-day business is done here.
I think that for the time being, that may be best, that we're easily accessible and we can hear any reports coming in as we're going along here.
From
we don't want to impose and get in the way, but that would be helpful for us to nail this down as quickly as possible.
Constantly like, oh, don't worry. I'll get the room set up for you. Don't worry. It'll if you don't mind sharing a room, I can have one of the side studies kind of fixed up for you boys.
Nope, that'd be just fine.
Sounds good.
And she'll kind of hustle off. Garen's just kind of smiling at his wife, who's just informed him of his decision, and just he's like, is there anything I can do for you, gentlemen?
I think we'll maybe go find your son Gottfried and just listen in as we're tracking down the source of this latest incident.
Of course.
Callan, Loon Sentinel, excuse me, the Fool, Peacemaker, anything that you
Not right off the bat.
Just keep us updated on any news about any of these infections. If anyone hears anything. We need
priority at this
as much information as we can get.
Anything I hear about, I'll be sure to give to you as well.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna head out and back down the stairs. Where are we, up on the second floor?
No, you're on the main floor.
All right.
Yep.
Head out to the front.
Okay. So you head back out. Guards quickly, your decoy is still there. It hasn't been 10 minutes yet. Mm-hmm. And you see the guard still he's like kind of leaning on the railing, look down. He kind of just gives you a little nod, and he's crossbow just in the general direction of Mr. Decoy.
Can I just walk forward and just kind of hold my arm out and walk through the decoy with my arm?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
The second you do that, he's just real daft, real nice. Right, nice.
And then I'll join the decoy and dancing before we move on.
A subtitle appears like right up here. He will remember this.
Telltale Games, love it.
All right. So you start to like head down that way, and within like you're just as you're kind of turning a corner and getting to within sight of that, you'll see there's a cart, and now you see two guards that are kind of putting him or the two bodies onto it carefully. Like you can see they're being very careful about handling the bodies, and you see Gottfried is standing there all in his leathers and looking very official and in charge. stand there, and he kind of sees you coming down the street and just kind of gives you all a little nod and wave.
Captain,
Scalebounders, I appreciate you coming. Thank you for your quick dealings with this, and I'm glad it's still early enough that nobody's out and about yet.
you recognized the body?
Yes, unfortunately, that's old Gaunt. He was unfortunately one of our more downtrodden here in the town. Didn't really have a steady home or anything like that. Bounced from place to place, really wherever he could get shelter. Most people knew that we were kind of trying to keep everybody indoors, but him being him, wasn't able to stay in any one place for too long. Kind of wore out his welcome. I didn't know he wasn't indoors tonight. Basically, just an old beggar. The
Not my place, Captain.
dog is his too.
Not my place, Captain, but might be a good idea if you sent a few guards through, try to figure out who saw him last, maybe spread word that he had an accident or something like that. Just try to backtrack and just check in on some of the shops and homes along his normal route and just to make sure that we don't have, he caught it from somewhere.
Good idea. Thank you. And
Captain, maybe it's a good idea if you have any more of these downtrodden sorts to make sure they have shelter tonight. Otherwise, it's just another level of risk for your city, don't you think?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. We'll be on top of it to make sure that nobody is left out tonight.
That said, do you have any scouts or anyone willing to act as a guide in case we would need to leave the city?
He kind of scratches his beard a little bit and just, well, if you're looking for someone who's one of my men, I have many who will take you around. But one of the best around that we have in our town here is she's the owner of the Hills Bills Inn. She's good. She's spent quite a few years out there with her father, hunting, all kinds of things. She's a real woman of the land. Prickly, but she knows her business out in the wilds.
That's her name, Prickly?
No, she's prickly. I wouldn't I wouldn't call her that. She, pretty girl, but she'll either kiss you or punch you, and you never know which one's going to be. No, her name's Diana.
Hell's Bells, where's he at? Where's that at?
Oh, and he kind of points in a direction. He's like, oh, about 3 blocks down that way. You might have passed it actually on your way, depending which way you came from, to be honest.
Do you have stables or anything, guard mounts that we could potentially borrow?
Absolutely, not a problem. And he kind of just grabs one of the extra men, and he's like, go tell the stable master we'll need 3 horses. Actually, potentially 4. And he'll, yes, sir, and take off running. They'll be at the west gates. There's a stable. They'll take care of you. Look for Lewis. Lewis is a main stable hand, and he'll be the one who will have it all situated for you.
Appreciate it. Peacemaker, the Fool, anything else?
And he kind of like smirks a little bit, and he's like, I heard about the names. No offense. And he kind of half pointing to make sure he gets it correct. And he's like, the Fool, Peacemaker. And he kind of then questioningly looks at you, Theobald. I didn't catch yours.
Tap the staff twice and black staff.
Black staff. Oh, nice. It's an honor to meet all of you. The halfway crew. Oh, good. Better than Scalebounders.
Yeah, because we don't do things halfway.
Oh, hey, I like that.
And and we're halfway as crazy.
Well, you have to be if you're going to be doing the work like this, I would think. But hey, it kind of gestures towards old Gant and his dog that are getting carted away now. He's like, 20 minutes in town, and you're already doing most of my job for me. So I got nothing bad to say.
Just a note, Peacemaker said here he originally died of illness. So as your men are going through, keep your ears open too. If anybody's sick, there seems to be just any sudden deaths or illness. Keep a close eye out.
I'll look into it personally.
Say it.
And he'll
I'll
kind
just
of
take-
excuse himself and walk off.
What do you two think?
Let's go see Prickly Diana, but don't call her Prickly Diana, right? We don't want to do
Please.
that. Doesn't sound like a good idea.
Please.
That seems to be our current. I do believe the mines are going to have to be somewhere in our trips during the days. Perhaps talking to some of the people outside of the city walls to see if there are any left. Perhaps getting an idea for how dangerous it really is out there.
I'm a little worried about leaving the city as well. I don't really
would
would
say I'm not
savvy
thrilled.
coming back and have an entire 4,500 of them.
Yes, it does seem that there's a bit of a predicament here right now. But we were sent here to dilly dally. We were sent here to save a town. Let us go save a town.
Well, and if there's no originating source, right, what are we going to do? Plan A, burn it all
That-
down?
That does provide a bit of a problem.
Should be
There
interesting.
has to be
collecting,
an
uh,
originating source. Someone somewhere has to have done something. But what is the question, obviously?
So we got a big gamble as to whether the mine, being the most recent associable event, is the source, or we stay here and make sure the city's clear. I prefer the gamble.
I think that's our best bet as well.
Yes, I will have to agree.
All right. Hell's bells.
Hell's bells.
All right, you make your way to the Hell's
Trying
Bells
so
Inn.
hard right now.
What?
I'm holding back so hard right now.
Ironically, that is piped in through the speakers of the.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Nice.
So you arrive. It's a 3-story building, right on the corner, actually. And you did just double checking. Yeah, actually, it's right in the marketplace, like kind of the town square.
Oh, yeah.
And so you kind of get back, into that town square and kind of look around, and sure enough, there it is. It's you see
Ta-da.
kind of that hanging signage, very rustic kind of look to it, and very like roll me a perception, everybody, real quick. Just you're kind of taking in. Nope.
That one.
5.
What building? What?
11.
11. You see a building. Looks nice. 3 stories. And just kind of actually as you're getting into the town square and everything, you actually do start to see like a little bit of movement in some of the buildings a little bit. And actually you hear like a few doors opening here and there. And one of the first ones actually is the Hell's Bell Inn. And the door opens, and you'll see a young half-elf woman who very soft tan skin, bald head, and very blue eyes. You can see it from 30, 40 feet away, easy, piercing. Little under 6 feet, very thin, athletic build, angular face, a little that half elven heritage coming through. Door opens and she kind of looks around and then kind of walks back in. Also noteworthy, you'll also see like she's wearing kind of a mixture between like something you'd see kind of like your normal kind of like bar waitress kind of bar, wench, whatever wearing, and half like leathers that you'd wear for combat. It's like it's a kind of a soft and hard mix of the two. And
I suspect that may be that proprietress. Gentlemen, are you hungry?
Yeah, I suppose I could have something to eat.
All right.
Let's go.
all right, you enter coming in. As kind of from the outside, you saw a little bit coming in. That rustic feel goes strong here. I mean, the all of the furniture, bar, everything looks kind of like that really nice finished wood that has still like that kind of bark on the sides of things, like real kind of log cabiny feel
Mhm.
to the inside. Big fireplace, and there is horns and some like heads of different animals on some of the walls. I mean, it's a very rustic feel to the place. And pretty much empty, except for the woman you saw, who's currently just kind of looks like tidying up a little bit. And as soon as you kind of all come into the uh, entrance and start to come in, she kind of notices the movement and looks on. She's like, "Oh, guests, welcome to the Hell's Bells. Come on in. Name's Diana. Can I get any of you gentlemen anything?"
Oh, if you have any food, mistress, that'd be fantastic.
Of course, we have food. Some of the best food you're going to have. And don't call me mistress. Name's Diana. I work for a living. And she's like, "Right now, I can just get
Wow.
you kind of basically what we're making right now, which is a lot of eggs and a lot of meat. How's that sound?
Sounds perfect.
I'll get on it.
Okay. Uh,
Pick a spot. Everything's open at the moment. Miners don't typically come in for another hour. So
Fantastic. Yeah, just pick a table and sit down.
So she'll kind of go back. You'll hear her kind of talk to somebody back there, and then kind of come back out. She's like, "You boys need anything to drink to go along with that?"
Ale, if you got it.
Do you have anything along the herbal lines?
Oh, we have plenty of teas.
Fantastic. I will have perhaps a morning blend.
Sounds good.
feeling like a mead. You got any of that?
Oh, plenty of alcohol here, sir. And she'll walk back and come out with a couple jugs. She'll put a pitcher down with for the ale and another one for mead, and then she'll come back and bring out a nice large cup. It almost looks like it, to be honest, it's a soup bowl down in front of you. And she's like, "Didn't have a cup big enough, so I figured you'd appreciate that. But that's for my own personal tea. Hopefully you like it."
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
So gotta say, I haven't seen anybody new around for really lately. Who are all you?
We are from the Scalebound. We are the halfway crew, sent here to help with the apparent problems plaguing your city and the lands around.
Ah, all right. Didn't know the mayor had reached out. I didn't know things were that bad.
Well, perhaps they're not that bad, but never hurts to get an extra set of ears and minds.
Wait, you didn't know they were that bad. How bad did you think they were?
Well, they're not good. I mean, I understand enough, at least when the wind's saying that everybody needs to stay indoors. It's not peaceful.
Huh. You look like kind of a rugged type for a proprietress of a bar here.
Can't wait till after we eat.
I didn't plan on actually running this place. It was my dad's. He died, unfortunately, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
I took it over after that. Least I could do. But I was actually one of the part of the hunters living off the land, bringing in food and furs for trade. More of my lifestyle that I preferred. But since a few years ago, I've been saddled with this burden and making the best of it, I suppose.
So you'd be fairly familiar with the area then, to the north, the forest, up to the foothills there.
Oh, I'm fairly familiar.
What have you heard from the farmers and the woodsmen up near there?
Creepy shit in the forest. Animals, both seeming more skittish around anything that moves. They just like they're, and apparently hunting's going down. Seems like whatever's going on, the animals are smarter than us and getting the heck out of here. Beyond that, just apparently bandits or something on the roads. Nothing too concerning, I suppose. So we're told.
You don't believe that 100%, or what?
She kind of just points to her nose. She's like, I can smell the wind.
How attached are you to this place here, this city, this high port?
A few years ago, not too much, but this was my dad's dream, and I'll stay until the day I die.
This is very honorable. He would be very proud of you.
Nice of you to say.
We're talking to the mayor and the captain. It seems like there may be some things that we may want to investigate related to these bandits or whatever for the north. There's someone you might recommend as a guide, anyone around here that you trust, given that your experience?
Well, are you looking for a guide to show you around and do literally that, or do you want someone who actually look out for you a little bit too?
Yeah, that second one.
Then, unfortunately, me. Otherwise, the few
Why is
that are still
unfortunate?
have a business to run
Uh,
and a little brother to look after as well.
Oh.
But I mean, there's daily cost and all that. I mean, I'm sure for a price, I could probably help out a little bit. I mean, I'd have to shut down and everything to actually help you.
and what would that price consist of?
Well, I mean, how long you looking? I mean,
Would this be a good time for me to have the metallic taste in my mouth manifest?
I don't know. Probably not.
Well, we're not particularly sure where to begin. It seems the man that we had to take care of the other night.
What man?
I kind of look over to them like, did I just go too far?
You know a man named Gaunt?
Gant. Yeah.
Gant.
Yeah. He normally stops by here almost every day. I give him some food.
Yeah.
Zombies. Your town has a problem with zombies. That's what it is. Zombies. Can you help us?
Boy. Well, I was trying to be surreptitious, but
Yeah, I know. I was getting really impatient.
She she just kind of like stares at all of you, and then she's like your friend said, probably shouldn't talk about it before breakfast. She goes in back, grabs some plates, and I mean, full of bacon and all kinds of stuff, and puts them down, then walks over to the door, shuts the door, and puts down a heavy beam across it. I mean, you hear it and almost feel it in the floor, stone floor, just boom. And then comes walking over, grabs a chair, flips it around, and kind of sits, backwards on it.
How's the food?
You gotta be fucking kidding me, zombies. The food?
He's just
Food's
shoveling it.
pretty good, actually. I mean, it's not, you're not dining in a royal palace or anything, but for just a
Beats
middle,
rice.
yeah, I mean, it's good. And she just staring at all of you. And
Tell her what you found on the body. How did Gant die?
When I examined the body after we dispatched of it, it was not our physical attacking that seemed to have caused the death. The
Back up.
arrow-
Tell her what we saw when we walked in. We need to just murder the man.
yes. At the end of the alley, there was this man Gant. He cloudy eyes seemed to be attacking a dog in the street, chewing on it, trying to eat it, as the dog was trying to fight back, but not seeming to gain any ground. That is when we stepped in and tried to dispatch of the issue. And well, it appears that once he was on the ground,
zombies, Gant and Rufus are dead.
Rufus?
it is
It's the
unfortunate,
dog.
but
Oh,
yes,
Rufus.
they are both dead at this point. I'm sorry to have to tell you in this way, but
Yeah, and it seems to be spread by a contagion. And contagion, if you don't know, is a communication of a disease from one person to another by close contact. And since we don't know Gant's schedule and how many people he interacted with during the day, the city could be in big danger if we don't figure it out.
Well,
And we seem to have some indication that the mine is the source.
The mine?
There's-
The silver mine?
the correlation between the mine opening and the sudden increase in issues around the area is a little hard to overlook.
But let me roll for
Collapsed.
because
Collapsed.
okay. She's like, oh, that one. Oh, okay. So zombies that the undead you're talking about. I've heard stories, so sure. Okay, I guess I could see maybe that being the most noteworthy thing around here in a while. Okay, that's a lot to take in. Yeah, I can help you. But really, undead? Okay. So you can see she's trying to kind of catch up a little bit where you guys just kind of vomited all this information at her.
Well, I was trying to slowly, but this guy over here.
This all this being serious. I can't do it.
She'll just kind of just reach in front of you guys and just grab the pitcher of ale and just pour another. Just
Yeah.
Okay.
You said you need to take care of this place, and we could hire you.
right.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll just start flashing a pouch of gold, and we can talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So how long are you? I mean, I guess you're thinking going to the collapsed mine. That's a little over a day away. So 3 days to start just for safety.
At least.
Okay.
I don't know. Operating costs, my high demand. How about 10 gold a day?
It seems like we should be able to work something out there. Yes.
Okay.
You just mentioned you had a little brother you need to keep an eye on.
I am going
Yeah,
to-
Are you friendly with the mayor, perhaps?
I know who he is.
He owes us a favor if you want a safe place to where you can stand your foot. I suspect
No. If I want a safe place, I'll stay here. but I won't be able to leave till tomorrow. Just to get things taken care of, make sure my brother's situated. Um, just doesn't seem like just the right too quick to just try to go running out there. I haven't even got any supplies put together even.
Fair enough.
Well, I will handle this for us tomorrow, and I'll fish out the 10 gold and give them to her.
She's like, oh, perfect. We're gonna get along just fine. And she kind of tucks it away.
Meet you at the West Gate. Dawn tomorrow.
Yeah, Dawn works.
Thank you very much for your time, Miss Diana, and bow to her. And
You gonna eat that?
before I forget, yes, shoveling into the face. I have been trying to be polite up until now, but it is like just I want it.
All right, well then tomorrow, Dawn, yeah, by all means. She kind of just pushes the plates a little bit towards you. She's like, just take it, go. You bought them.
And then tell me
That's,
the
She seems really nice.
I'd like to make an insight check on as she's talking about her brother,
Oh, sure.
just to see if I can read that a little bit better. Natural one.
You are on
All
fire
three dice.
tonight.
She's a
All three
paragon
dice.
of honesty.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Eat up
so
and drink up and go unbar the door.
yeah, roll me a strength check. I'm not being the
Loon, Kellen.
Yeah, I'll see him and I'll give him, I'll aid
14.
him.
14.
I mean, it takes a good amount of to lift it up.
Oh my goodness.
But you
Kind of look again at Diana once, and back at the beam, and then back at her.
I mean, it was a downward motion. I mean,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah, she still has to open it.
that's true. So you open the door with some effort, and she kind of, oh, sorry about that, guys. Tomorrow, dawn. We'll see you then.
Back out.
Yep. Work our way out.
Okay.
Maybe this time is good. We can keep our ear to the ground, see if anyone else is popping up as not quite feeling so good.
Yeah. So you're out back in the town square. There is starting to be some movement. A couple people. You even see like a couple, maybe vendors who are just bringing out kind of a cart and stuff to set up a little bit. Some trade. What do you guys want to do? Like in that? I mean, are you looking to go somewhere else or look around in that area for people? Like, what are you thinking?
I'm going
Talk to me.
to pick up some fresh fruit or vegetables or something just to supplement the dry rations since we know we're gonna be heading out tomorrow. Just kind of listening, get a feel for what the town is, and then I don't know, suggest grabbing some naps. I suspect we're gonna be up tonight.
Maybe.
Is there anybody who seems like especially sullen or distracted?
Both of you roll me a perception check, seeing as you both kind of are looking around at people's. And for just some basic, some extra fresh produce, stuff like that, fruits, all that stuff, just 4 copper, 3 copper for.
Yep.
Yeah. So what'd you guys get?
And
10?
11.
11. Right now it's early morning. Nobody seems to like down or anything like that. If anything, it's a nice morning. The weather's nice. Sun's coming up. It looks like people are, hey, out of the house, that kind of see. I mean, there's no singing in the streets or anything, but it's early morning. People are getting set up. Like anybody you kind of go up to talk to a vendor who's not even completely ready, and you're like, hey, I see you got some apples and stuff like that. They're oh yeah, come on, it's like very nice and accommodating. You're not seeing anything out of the ordinary from what you'd expect.
Um, Loon, do you think we should maybe double check that alley and see if we can't backtrack anything there before it gets too trampled with the day's
Perhaps.
traffic?
I do have one thing I did forget to ask Diana, but I would like to take care of that alone, perhaps.
Okay.
Just give me a few moments, and I'll head back into the inn, and if it's open, or the restaurant inn.
Yeah, it's still open.
Is she immediately available, or?
It looks like she's actually just wiping down the table you guys
Okay.
left.
Diana, I apologize for coming and bothering you again.
She's like, no problem. You guys pay well. Bother
I
me
have
all you
not been
want.
in the city ever before, but I do make it a point to kind of try and bring light to a friend that I lost contact with a long time ago, and perhaps you've seen her face, and I dig out the poster, kind of the one that's not awesome, but
Oh yeah.
this is not the best representation of her, but this is a little different, as that is perhaps not quite so round. The nose. Have you seen her?
She
Her name
kind
is
of
Freya.
nodding, and she's like, oh no, I understand. Kind of takes it and looks at it, and she's like, oh, I'll be honest, I don't know if I have.
It was a long shot, but I figure I'd ask. You seem to get a lot of traffic through here, and
More than most normally. But I'm sorry. Unfortunately, she doesn't seem familiar to me.
well, should you remember, if you see her face, tell her to stop by the Skillbound in Dragonlock.
What's her name?
Freya.
Freya. Okay. All right. I will. I'll mention that to her if I if I actually see her.
Well, thank you very much, and I'll bow deeply and excuse myself. See you in the morning.
Until tomorrow.
And okay, Seabold, let's do this.
All right. Head to the alley.
Yep.
All right. You head to the alley, and actually, when you get there, you actually do see there is a guard standing there, and he looks to be kind of keeping an eye in the general area. And he
Pull up my sleeve and show off my badge.
he
I
just,
kind of pulled up.
he just kind of nods. He's kind of gestures. He's like, "Go right in, gentlemen."
This seems to be a kind of fun. A little free pass, if you will. Eh?
For now.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll kind of follow Theobald, and I'm not really sure what he's got intentions for looking for here, but I figured I could always back him up. What
So-
exactly are we trying to find here?
Any tracks? Let's see if we can track down where he came from. Any sign of disturbance? Any broken doors? Any kind of blood trails, bodily fluids? Any kind of refuse that may show where he was at before he came here?
Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of begin pecking through stuff, same as Theobald, I'm sure, and trying to locate anything that might give us clues.
Okay. Either roll
I'm
me.
gonna throw guidance on Loon.
Okay. Either roll me an investigation
Mm-hmm.
or roll me a survival if you're looking for any kind of like trail or tracks when it comes to like backtracking him, in some sort of way.
I almost feel like that's probably the way to go here, is to like, where was his path? Like, how did he end up here, infected here?
That way I can
Um,
assist because I'm also proficient in survival. So
Yeah, I've got a +5.
not in investigation. I got a +6, but I'm rolling really crappy tonight. So we'll
Right. That's very nice.
1 plus a 1d4
Oh, nice. Okay.
for guidance.
25.
25. All right. So you kind of going from where bodies were picked up, obviously, and then where you dispatched them, and where you first saw them, kind of looking carefully through the area, and following even like you're looking around looking for trail. You kind of go over to where that the blanket you had Theobald had picked up, and looking there, and then kind of not seeing a whole lot, but then you start to, the dog, and you start to think of the direction the dog was going, and you start to look around that area and go down an alley, across a street, kind of just looking for any signs of anything. And then down the next block in the alley, you kind of see, just catches your eye, something out of place. And you go down there and you actually see, it looks like there's a building that actually has a small little like kind of fence that one of the slats is very much kind of on a hinge point, and you duck in there and you can see there's kind of like a little bit of like a hobo camp of like someone was staying there, and you can see there's a little bit of like kind of old ratty kind of blankets and stuff strung up a little bit. And I mean, obviously this is not where somebody would likely want somebody living off the streets, living between these buildings, but also it's hidden enough that apparently no one's noticed it yet.
I'll kind of pull my cloak up over my face and step in, seeing.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Wow, this die is hot tonight. Perception 21.
21, nice. So yeah, the second you kind of you guys are watching Loon almost in a really unorthodox way, moving up and down this alley and stuff, and all of a sudden just lock onto something, like a bloodhound, and just start, hey, maybe over here. And all of a sudden he kind of like half cocky little wink as he's like, yeah, this fence, it's a little small for him, so he actually has to kind of whoop over top of it. The second you get back there, in this moment before anybody else kind of slides through, immediately your nose is hit with the smell of like just sweat, and just old sweat and refuse. And you can even
do not come in here.
Very quickly you can see like some stained areas next to what looks like a kind of a put together bed of like vomit that's dried. Looks like there might even be a little bit of blood in it. Just looks like somebody was sick here.
Well, I'll rush in there and not really listen to Lynn Sensinome.
I tried to tell him.
Can we tell about how many people use the camp, or
no? This is like an individual's little hobo camp.
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking up and down between these buildings, see if there's any kind of doorways or windows that may have line of sight on this area. I'm assuming not, if it's getting by unnoticed, but
right. And not even making you roll. Like it looks like the only windows and stuff that you can see here would be out of line of sight of this little nooked in right behind this fence. Otherwise there's no even doors going down this alley, and there's actually, so it's like a fence and a narrow strip of alley and another fence. So it's almost like this little section's kind of quarantined off just by the different owners and stuff doing things.
What are you guys seeing in there?
There's not a whole lot. There's a pretty nasty pile of refuse. Ripped up blankets. It just looks like an encampment, and I'm actually gonna try and get out because the smell is really bad.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, I'll try to examine it more, but I'll take a big swig from the flask while I'm doing that.
Okay.
And
Kind
maybe
of get out and
give it a look with the monocle or something.
Yeah. Roll me an investigation check.
Uh, 27.
Jesus.
Yikes.
Yeah. You keep looking around.
25, sorry.
Okay. Wow, that makes a big difference. Everything I described is all there. And the only other thing, you kind of, as you're looking around a little bit, you do see what looks to be like one of the in the back there looks to be like some like different like pieces of wood and stuff like that that kind of half made like a little like table like a stone, things like that. And moving some things around, you actually find a little cubby hole that is got like wrapped up in some just rags, things of that nature. And inside you see that there's like a little necklace with a small little trinket on it, uh, and then also just a small little bag of like coins. Inside, it's like about 10 copper worth.
Galen,
Looks
you
like
finding anything?
Just looks like he had some personal items. Maybe we should send these along with whoever is interring the body so he can be sent off with them.
Or check with Godfield, see if he's got any next of kin. I know he's
Yes.
homeless, but that seemed to be partly by choice and partly by happenstance. But
That's all I found. Is that all I found?
nothing
Yeah.
new, nothing. Okay. All right. Moon, you think did it look like he'd been here for a couple days? Is this where he died? The first time?
Roll me a
I
medicine
was gonna
check
say,
just
could
on
I-
top of what you
Yeah.
already. I mean, you just thinking about what you saw. And you
That's
saw a
only
lot.
That's only a 13.
Possible. I mean, you did, like I said, you did see some blood in the vomit. So I mean, it's possible,
Is there?
but with the fact of what you saw and all that, you think maybe he might have actually been leaving this area because he was sick and all that. Maybe, who knows? He could have been. Oh, he could have died there. He could have and wandered out of there. He could have,
It is
who
hard
know-
to tell. People who wander cities tend to pick up whatever they come in contact with, and who knows if he had a drinking problem,
Sure.
and there's a vomit, and there was blood in it. From what I can see right there, I cannot give you a yes or a no.
Fair enough.
Should we burn it?
Not between the buildings. Maybe we could let someone know. They can come and collect and quarantine it and burn it.
Man, you're just itching.
Yeah. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Yeah. I think our next best course of action is to have someone perhaps clean this out and keep our search going. I suppose. Perhaps he has regular stopping points. We could talk to people. Perhaps they saw him on his way towards the towns the other day.
I think maybe checking with Godfield. He was going to be double checking that. Might be easier just to check in with him and see what his men have found.
Fair enough. Yes, that is correct.
Anything
well,
else you guys want to kind of do for the rest of the day? Just kind of looking into a few things, checking with Godfrey and things like that.
No, I'd probably set up and write a letter from High Point just because it's like, ooh, new address like sending from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just
there's-
sending one off to Master and then one off to Freya again, wherever she may be.
Okay.
And then, yep, that's me.
Would you be doing that in front of us or?
No, it would be more like whenever we get to a point where it's downtime. Whether it's in front of you or not isn't really of my concern. So maybe depends on wherever we stop.
Oh yeah, I want to call back home too. So
While
Just
they're
the-
doing that, good. Go ahead.
oh, all right. Yep, I'm placing a call on the earring, ascending,
Okay.
and I'm calling Val Clover,
Okay.
and I'm saying, "Hey Val, it's Callan Den. So cool you gave the Scalebound Guild a chance. I'm on a super important mission. When I get back, we should." That's my limit, I guess.
Sending is so much fun.
Yeah, you guys can use it.
How many uses does that thing get?
I've only gotten it to work once a day, so
Remind me when you have a days that you do not wish to use it, and perhaps I'll give it a shot.
like tomorrow. You want to use it tomorrow?
I could do that, yeah. I do not wish to impose by any means.
No.
So after a moment, you'll just hear, who? Callan? How are you? Who's in my head? Why are you? Yeah, I joined the Scalebound. Who the hell is this? And who gives you the right to? And it cuts.
Ah, start of something beautiful.
Awesome, I love it.
All right. So letters are sent, investigating thing. You check in with Godfrey. He's kind of gone and doing different things. At the end of the day, he will let you all know that nothing has been found for when it comes to like any increase of people being sick and all that. Though all of the kind of towns like medical and healers or anything like that are told like, hey, you hear anything, I need to hear about it, you know. So they're at least going to be in the know. He does also inform you that they did go to that alley and kind of carefully rounded up everything and burned it all, other than the little pouch you guys set aside. And Constance will have you'll have a nice private room kind of all set aside on the second floor. 3 cots in there, and so it's kind of come and go as you please. Just, you know, let her know if there's anything she can do to make your stay better.
I would try to ask Constance about Diana.
Oh,
Get a little more information about her and her little brother. And
yeah. Roll me a persuasion check.
Two.
Basically you'll get the gist of they're nice folks. Horrible what happened to their, you know, their dad, or
What happened to her father?
Hunting accident. You know, the kids they went out and were gone, you know, for a couple days, and you know, he went out after them, and apparently they were attacked by some sort of animal, and he rescued them, but unfortunately the animal took his life in the process. They've been on their own ever since, but Diana, she's you know, I don't like to say anything ill of anybody, not everybody's cup of tea, but you know, she can be very nice sometimes, and you know, seems to be making that in of theirs an honor to their father's patronage.
And the brother?
Frederick, he's a quiet sort. He stays to the inn. Beyond that, you know, don't see too much of him.
Does he just help out around the inn, or is there a school, or what's the?
Yes, he unfortunately during the attack lost the ability to speak, and so he stays at the inn. Diana takes care of him. He, from time to time, you see him out and about nearby in the town square with some other kids, but not too often. They kind of pick on him from most of what I've heard.
Appreciate it. Thank you, milady.
She'll nod and let you go about your way. Anything into the night? What's your plans for the night? You bunking down, or you out and about, or I mean, like you said, you got, you know, free passes to do whatever you like.
Wow.
I know.
I would be trying
VIP.
There you go, VIP.
It's laminated.
I think check in with Gottfried and just if you two are up for it, at least take one round patrol and just kind of scope out how tightly down this is actually locked down.
Mhm.
I get the feeling they got guards on the walls and aren't necessarily checking anything out too rigorously, unless is Gottfried running patrols through the town or just kind of trusting.
They are
that everybody
tonight.
does.
They
Yeah.
are tonight after what you guys like already told them right away when they first, met you, plus other things. So it's like taking any advice you give them, and they are actually keeping still like kind of a skeleton crew more on the walls
Yep.
and focusing majority of the town's watch actually kind of patrolling some of the streets.
Right.
Granted, still limited. It's a big area, but they have shifts and watchmen that are going to be going kind of throughout the entire town.
I would take a shift and go out with one of the shifts.
Okay. Anybody else?
Is everything
no.
locked down, or is there like a nightlife going on?
It's locked down after dark. Like as the sun sets, all the bars and all that kind of do unless you're spending the night here, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Oh no, wait. By city ordinance, you have to go home. Go home.
Yeah.
Hey, Loon Sensinome, you want to go out, look around, and maybe practice some moves together?
No, I don't see any problems with this. Perhaps we can find something interesting on the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so Theobald, you are taking a actual watchman
the
shift,
only one
and
being
you guys are
responsible.
just kind of
I get the feeling we're gonna kind of wander and perhaps be a little silly.
Where would you ever get a feeling like that?
I say we very loosely.
okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, Callan will be totally distracted. Hey, check this out, Loon. Let's go over here. What's that? It's squirrel.
That's cool.
Okay, I'm gonna share something real quick.
But ostensibly wanting to practice the monk moves and such. With
This is a very
You actually want to practice with me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm out of practice. I didn't get to do any shows during this festival season. Getting itchy. Let's go.
Okay.
Itchy to burn something.
Wow. All right. You're like the kid with the undiagnosed ADHD in the back of the room, just going nuts.
Mhm.
Must burn everything. Must burn. All right. This is kind of a very rough map, but bear with me.
Mhm.
I'm gonna share this.
Mhm.
Jambowski.
This looks incredibly similar to a map I use.
Okay.
Cool. No, sorry.
So I've got some indications here, so you can see where the mayor's house is, where the zombie inn alley and the Hell's Bell Inn, and you got the kind of market town square in the middle. So Theobald, would you give me an indication of where you were kind of where you would kind of want to be like focused primarily in your watch?
I would be going through the I would be trying to find the whichever crew is going to be going through like the poorer sections where the more buildings ramshackled together, maybe less structure to the roads.
The slums.
Okay.
Kind of the poor areas where there's, if something's going to happen, maybe it wouldn't be noticed not as much screaming necessarily, or not be able to distinguish quite what's going on. But
okay, so you'd be down more in like the Bluffs Village area.
Okay.
So moving down there, and then Callan, Loon Sensinum, where do you think you guys are going to start your antics?
Probably saunter. My idea would be like saunter close to the Hell's Bells Inn, and then like just use that whole open market as playground.
Okay.
And we didn't even really look at the Hell's Bells Inn when we were there before, so we got to check that out, right?
Yeah.
I guess I don't see why not.
So Full dark, or like what shift are you guys all plan on going out? Like midnight, or when are you thinking? Full dark, dusk?
Well, I would have been going through my nightly mantras while I imagine you were sitting there just antsy as I'll get out. And you're like, okay, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, let's go.
Uh-huh.
I give in. So I don't know. It's not
That's early
right
evening
after
or
sunset, but yeah, early evening.
Okay, so right before
Oh.
sunset or right after?
Right after.
after.
Okay, so Theobald, are you similar shift, or are you gonna go more into like later
I
on?
would go later on, grab a little
Okay.
bit of sleep, and then go out with a little bit later crew.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Just leave
so
a quick note with Theo, just like, gotta take care of Callan.
uh, so
Gotta walk the
yeah,
dog.
Loon, you guys are kind of in that town square marketplace area, kind of
Yeah,
hanging out,
Yeah.
goofing off. What are you doing?
I would say he might. Yeah. Anyway.
I get you.
Yeah.
But
Kind of going through just like the basics, I guess, to start with, like, because this is what he wants to do. Just kind of the different, almost like Tai Chi movements. And then going further on, if he really wants to, we can fashion one of like half cobble together one of those like training poles with the sticks out of them. It wouldn't be fantastic, but it would get the job done.
sure.
Yeah, Callan would just be kind of impatient to get to whatever sparring we could do.
Oh yeah, nope. Yeah, if that's where he wants to go, then Loon will pick up on it quick enough. And okay, fine. You do not want to mess with the basics. Come on, if you want to do this, let's go.
Okay. So we're gonna just because of what time it is, we're
Yep.
going to kind of speed through this part a little bit. So both of you roll me initiative real quick.
All right,
You get to that, you're getting into sparring.
dirty 20.
Dirty 20,
11.
11. All
Oh
right.
dear.
So this round, you have the initiative on this round. What are you doing? We're going to treat it like a skill check challenge almost.
Yeah.
So tell me what you're doing, whether it be to looking into his form, technique with insight, or perception to telegraph his move, or if you're going to athletics, just straight coming at him, like kind
The
of.
first one would definitely be insight, because I'd be holding back, waiting to see kind of like I'm waiting for that movement telegraph, because he this isn't what he normally does. Like, he's gonna show what he's gonna do, and I'm just waiting for him to make the move to counter and get in there.
Perfect. Okay. And Callan, so you see him kind of like just kind of taking you in. What are you
Yep.
doing? Same kind of method, like skill check challenge. What are you thinking?
Sure. So if I notice that at all, then I would try to just do a bunch of showy flourishes meant to deceive his insight.
Yeah.
Okay, so deception versus insight.
Right. Okay. Let's do this. All right. Oh
Ah,
no, dude.
I think a 26 beats an oh no.
Natural
Maybe
20.
he
plus
didn't
a
mean to
5
hurt
is a
you.
25. So you did beat me. Your deception did beat me.
Okay, so as you're standing there, Callan, watching him, you both can roll initiative and have that ready for me. You're watching him and watching. All of a sudden, he just starts to slapping himself, spinning in a circle, and then he reaches out in like one direction, and you just very quickly go to block, and you feel a quick slap across the face, and he's just bouncing. He's like, huh?
I see this look of incredulity. I'm like, what the?
Crazy like a fox.
Yeah.
Initiative.
Next initiative is a 22.
Okay, 22.
Or no. Initiative. Yeah, no, 21. Sorry.
14.
Okay. Loon, all right. Same thing. You got the initiative. He just slapped you.
Fine. I see how this is gonna go.
I didn't think I
Straight
was
up-
going to slap you, but I slapped
Fine.
you. You know,
Kind of
so-
lost the patience for the moment, and it's straight up acrobatics going for, I don't know, a disabling shot to the side.
Okay, so you're just going for, so athletics just to try to
Mhm.
give him a shot back. Okay.
Yep. Like what the I don't think so.
Okay.
Ooh,
That
no.
Acrobatics or
Mo-
athletics?
That was that I'm using I'm using acrobatics. I'm sorry.
Acrobatics. Okay. Callan, what are you doing? And if you're not happy with the fact that you slapped him, give me more descriptive of what you'd like to do with it.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
thought that's where
So
you were going.
when he comes in for his strike, whatever he's throwing my way to take me to school,
I'm a little clear.
I will just kind of try to use leverage and flip him over my hip or something with athletics. So use his momentum from the attack and
Yep.
just let him
Okay.
fly over
Sure.
using whatever leverage I can provide with athletics.
Okay. Roll, sirs.
Yeah. I got a 21 on that.
I got a 9.
9. Okay.
I'm going for it's a half feint almost. It's going for a sweep, but instead of actually doing the full sweep, my one leg is planted, my two hands are down, and the leg comes up for a reverse, like donkey kick to the chest.
Okay. So yeah, as you kind of as, like watching and trying to, use his own momentum against him, you at first feel like perfect. You're stepping aside doing that, and all of a sudden this foot comes out of nowhere and just boom right into you.
Ugh.
You kind of go to your back and kind of roll back up onto your feet. All right, initiative real quick.
Oh gosh, again.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh.
21.
Oh yeah, you won that one. You won that one. I got a 12.
Callan, what are you doing?
Okay, I am just going to do performance and dance all over him. Just try to,
Yeah.
if his knees bent at all, I'll use that as a step and kind of Fred Astaire my way up the stairs with him as the stairs and come back down the other side.
Okay. Loon, what is your plan? You just kicked him, you turn, he's just coming back to his feet. You see like one eyebrow raise.
Uh-huh.
You're turning on him. What are you doing?
Am I able to use insight again to kind of see what the hell is he thinking now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Sure. That little glint in the eye,
Yeah.
sure.
Like, all right, what's up now? 15.
Callan?
Oh, yes. Come on. What did I say? Performance?
Yeah.
That's a 13.
Oh
13.
no.
Okay, so as you see this look and you start to see him pace forward, and with just this rhythm and this bounce in his step, and you real quick just oh no,
I would almost let it go for the second before and knock the foot
okay,
as
yeah.
he's starting to step.
So yeah, he starts to he puts one foot on your knee on the
Yep.
back of your leg to step up onto you, and you just twist out and just like nah, and Callan, you land on your back and oh, is that blood? You like, oh, it's so metallic, and then as 2 gold coins come out of your mouth, and you hear the chuckle of Terrafin in your ear.
Nice.
Hey! Hit me again.
And
It's
at
just as good
that-
as working for tips.
And at that moment,
Uh-huh.
you'll hear from the direction of the Hell's Bells Inn, you'll hear the sound of like growls and like just like loud, almost a scream.
Wait.
And both of you just lock eyes with each other and look over at the
Yeah.
Hell's Bell Inn.
Yep.
And above you see the coming from the mountains peeking over a full moon. And that's where we're going to end.
All right.
So
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks for sparring.
Uh-huh.
we'll have to find out who wins eventually, but So that for clarification seems to be Terrafin's little boon to you. A weird coughing up
You're
of
you're
some
like
coins.
a weird vending machine over here.
Hmm. Interesting. Just at random or
I don't know. Like, and it might not even be the same thing every time.
All right.
But thank you everybody for joining us here on Down with Dragons here on Monsters of Roll on Twitch. Be sure if to reach out to us either at our email now for inspiration. That's Down with Dragons mailbag at gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, the Discord of Monsters of Roll. And then be sure to check out new episodes of Dungeon Patrol as well. Those go on YouTube, and also this episode goes on YouTube every like about a day or so after that this airs. So until next week, thanks everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you next time on a full moon.
Yeah. Thanks for joining.